I'm gonna recreate Minecraft's oldest and most nostalgic maps all in my hardcore world so I can truly experience that fun feeling of playing old Minecraft again. Starting with the easiest one, Skyblock Classic. This build may be small, but it has a whopping 2.3 million downloads, and if you're wondering, I'm in the end. Now the builds will be getting crazier and crazier, with the last build being absolutely insane. Now the next couple will all be YouTube related, with the first build having almost 1,000 videos featuring it by just one creator. So let's collect the materials. And now let's build it. While I build it, let me tell you a bit about this build. It was first introduced in 2014 by the YouTubers Popularmmos and Gaming with Jen. This build was used in many different videos, but was most commonly seen in their challenge game series. This is the Popularmmos Arena. Oh wait, there's something missing. Ah yes, these old graphics make it a lot better. Now to move over to our next build, we have to fly all the way over to a desert, just so that I could do this sick transition. And before you say I cheated in the comments, this is a different world. As you can tell, we are at Dan TDM's lab, and this build is very rich in iron and gold. And my current iron farm kinda sucks. I think you know where this is going. Now that was the easy part. We now need to trap 4 zombies and a bunch of villagers. And now we are 100% finished. That means we just have to go AFK. It's been 10 hours, but now we can move on to collecting some more easier resources. Wait, why does my nether look so cursed? Oh, it's because of the texture pack I'm using to make it look like old Minecraft. And I guess certain blocks weren't in the game back then. But anyway, let's build the lab. Okay, that is most of the lab done. I just have to get Dr. Trayaurus, who is now green because I couldn't find a white one, and of course Grim. Now I decided not to build the treasure room because I don't play with any mods that add items into my world. Anyway, so now we can... Wait, what's that sound?
Beautiful.
Hold on a second. Wait, who are you?
If an apple is a red and an orange is an orange, then what does a balloon make? Correct answer, red.
Okay. Wait, you built something in here. What the fuck? So the final YouTube build is actually Stampy's house, but not this one. Instead, we're going to the Minecraft tutorial world, aka title update 19. And if you fly to the corner of the map, you will find Stampy's house on an island. The only problem, we need thousands of grass and dirt blocks to build the island. So it's time to destroy this place even more. That took a while, but now we can move on to some easier items such as sand, oaken birch saplings, bone meal, and stone. Now finally we just have to pick a spot, and here looks good. And if you're wondering how I know where to place all the blocks, it's from the mod Lightmatica. But now let's build the island. Now you're probably thinking, why does the island look so weird? Well, all of these holes is where the house is supposed to go. Speaking of the house, there are 2 main blocks that Stampy used. The first one being oak wood. Luckily I have this automatic wood farm, which I probably should have used earlier in the video, but at least we have all of the wood now. Next up we have sandstone, so I made my way to a desert, and now let's mine some up. Yeah, this is a bit slow, but I have an idea. If I fly to my gravity duper, I can place some sand, turn on the machine, and all of the sand will be duped, which can be crafted into a bunch of sandstone. Now there are a few easier and smaller resources we need to collect, such as glass, stone, wool, beds, bookshelves, quartz, and finally obsidian. Now we're going to start with the bigger builds and work our way down. So let's start with the dock and of course the famous boat, which was a part of many people's childhoods. So now it's time to move on to the rooms, starting with my favorite, the clubhouse. And we all know deep down that Stampy wanted it to be a different kind of club. Moving on, we have the fizzy tower, watchtower, water slide thing, whatever it's called. It's basically the highlight of the house. And now, like most Minecraft houses, we need an organized storage room, and above it is a brewing room. And fun fact, I haven't brewed a single potion in my hardcore world. But now it's time for the most popular room, Stampy's bedroom, which leads us now with the smaller and more boring rooms. So let's speedrun them. The kitchen, inspiration room, living room, transport station, room with no requirement, Crimson's crib, swimming pool, library with a secret room, guest room, enchanting room, crafting room, and lastly the love garden with all of my friends written down. Moving on, our next build is the famous rainbow dropper, and as you can tell we need thousands of wool, and my wool farm from this video is just way too slow. So if I clear a decently sized area, I'll have enough space for 2 automatic sheep torture chambers. Oh, I mean happy sheep farms. Now with a little bit of resource collecting, we will have all of the materials. Now we just have to build it. So there's one complete, and with the power of editing, the second is now finished. Now we need 60 sheep, so I built a small pen which will host 2 sheep, and with a little bit of breeding, boom, we have all of the sheep. I just realized I caused lots of incest. Moving on, one at a time, we need to dye them and bring them into the machines. Now that's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and the 60th. Why do I do this to myself? Now if we AFK for 30 hours, I will have... oh no. Yeah, this is nowhere near enough. I was lost, questioning what I could do. At this rate, I could spend an entire real life week just AFKing for some wool. Or I could use something else. So I ended up using concrete. You may say that's cheap of me, but at this point I'd almost spent an entire 2 months on this video. But don't worry, because the rest of the builds will be getting crazier and crazier. And with that slight distraction out the way, we need to find a place to build. And right here looks good. So let's get to building. At the current time of recording this video, I have just over 200 subscribers. And I'm thankful for every single one of you, but I have a bigger goal in mind. 100,000 subscribers. You see, ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted a play button, and believe me, 2024 is my year. So maybe consider subscribing, it would help out so much. Anyway, let's get back to the video. Now this may look like a massive ice cream cone, but this looks sick. And if you're wondering why the concrete looks like terracotta, it's because of the texture pack. Yeah, that's it. So now we need to build the well-known Temple of Notch, and in the middle there's a massive waterfall canyon, which means we'll have to either mine it by hand or use flying machines, or an even better idea. Yeah, buddy! If I AFK at my stone farm for 2 hours, collect the stone, I just have to simply build up high enough so that the canyon is now up, not down, although this isn't the canyon. This is, I gotta say, I think it's finally starting to get a shape. Okay, that might have been a lie, but right now it's nothing but a bunch of stone. So for the millionth time this video, I collected some materials, and now let's get to building the terrain. Okay, this place is looking even better, but if I place down some grass, you guys can enjoy this satisfying time lapse. However, this place is still looking a bit plain, so by placing a bunch of saplings and bone meal we can give it a bit of life, and every life needs water, although in this case placing water was painfully slow, but I got it done in the end. But you've probably noticed that I'm missing the beautiful king notch, so let's fix that. Now there are 2 more things we need to do, the first one being the easiest, which is just the entrance, but on the other hand, the second is quite annoying. It consists of us collecting a bunch of redstone. Why? Well, it turns out this map requires a whole bunch. So with a little bit of crafting, we can start to build the really easy redstone that almost anyone can build. Okay, serious note, why is this so complicated? Now lastly, we need to fill up the dispensers with the rewards, fill in some of these holes, and now we are wrapped up and done. Now the second to last build is the Xbox 360 tutorial world. However, since there's quite a few different ones, we're going to recreate the most famous one. And with that being said, we can use leftover materials from earlier to start to form the terrain. Now for the final time of this video, I gave it some life. Okay, when I say life, it's nothing but trees and bone meal. So before we move on to the massive house, there are a few unique structures we need to build. The first one being this old rundown house. Now the next slightly bigger one is a watchtower, which is pretty basic. Speaking of basic, in the corner of the map there's this random house that has a basement with a chest. Now in the tutorial world there's a desert with a temple, although in my world there isn't a desert. Oh, Now there is. Now we've just got to quickly build the temple. And for some reason in the temple it dispenses a discount to Adam and Eve. Wait, what? The final two happen to be the most interesting, with one basically being a fishbowl underwater. Now the last one is perhaps the best looking one, because it's an underground ruin, and am I the only one that didn't know this existed in the tutorial world? Like, I swear I've never noticed this before. So now to build the house we needed lots of materials, and luckily they're all pretty basic, just like the mini structures we just built. Wow, just looking at the front of this build brings back a bunch of memories, but the inside is still empty, so I guess you know what time it is. So the rooms are actually pretty basic, but honestly that's what made it so great. Now the last part of the house is the farm, and of course the barn. And normally there's supposed to be animals, but for some reason there's just none in the area. Sorry Peter. So the final part of the build is just basic details. But this last part isn't a basic detail, because it's the famous Minecraft logo above the build. And with that, the tutorial world is finished. Remember the old Hunger Games map and your favorite YouTubers playing them? Well, the last build is the Hunger Games map. Just not this one, but instead this. If you ever grew up playing Minecraft on any of the old console editions, you'll remember what this is. I remember I used to play this all the time on my old Wii U. That's why at the end of the video I'll play it for the first time in years. And yes, I was one of the only few people that had one. As you can tell, the cavern is underground, which means we'll have to build a TNT duper. Okay, yeah, it's working, so now let's AFK. And that should be big enough, nice. So we're actually going to take this build and split it apart by starting with building the bottom spawning area, which is the middle of the map. Now there are 4 main ruins surrounding it, each of which representing a different type of ore, starting with emerald ore. And since there are 3 other ruins remaining, let's play a little game. Which of the following will ItsCodz use to show on building the ruins? A. Fast paced block pacing. B. Time lapse. C. Jump cut. Or D. All of the above. Well, if you guessed D, then you are correct, so let's build the next one, which is diamond. Now the next one is gold, and with that complete we can finish the final main ruin with a jump cut. Yeah, that took a while. However, we're not done yet because there's a couple stairwells and pathways that lead up towards the Stangling ring. Now this is looking sick, but we're missing the actual cavern part, and according to my math I will need around 45,000 stone. That's gonna take forever. Well, at least we have all of the stone now, so I guess it's now time to build. This is possibly my favourite build of this video. Just looking at it unlocks a bunch of old memories. But before we play it again, we still need to add a little bit of plants to the build. Now the last part will require us to go up to the surface so that we can make the surrounding area look more natural. And if you're wondering where all this dirt came from, let's just say next video I might need to invest in a dirt farm. But now it's time for what you've all been waiting for. Without hesitation, I loaded up into a game and started to play. And before long, I was hit with a serious issue. Hackers. My games were filled with hackers. And while I was playing, I noticed that it just didn't have that same feeling. I'd grown up and old Minecraft just didn't feel the same. And to top it off, in a couple of days, Wii U Online will shut down forever. Honestly, this wasn't the conclusion I wanted to have to this video, but I can at least be grateful. Grateful that all those years ago, I was at least a part of it.